Well, hello, and welcome to the Content Modeling Show, episode 22. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope everybody enjoyed their weekend. I am Marcelo Lewin, the Headless creator. And today we're going to be modeling release notes. I'm sure many of you know what release notes are, but if you don't, I'm going to show you a couple of samples and then we'll jump in and start modeling them. But before we do that, as always, I want to make sure you have the information to get a hold of me if you need it. Feel free to email me, marcelo@headlesscreator.com. And below, scrolling there, you see the social media networks where you can follow me, you can subscribe to. Make sure you follow me on Twitch if you can. Please subscribe. I'd really would appreciate it. Same with YouTube. Yep, and that's that. And before we get started, what I want to show you real quick is the website. You can go to headlesscreator.com. You'll find this episode probably about 10 minutes after we're done with it. You'll find it on demand and ready to be watched under Content Modeling Show right here. I do want to share with you that I've done a little work this weekend. I did a couple of updates to the website. A couple of things you will notice is that these shows that used to be known as the Contentful User Show and Contentful Dev Show are now the Headless CMS User Show and Dev Show, because I'm going to be covering beyond Contentful. I will be covering a lot of Contentful still, but I will be covering other shows as well. For example, this week I'm going to be covering, I believe, doing 2 shows on Graph CMS. But don't worry, because I will be doing a lot of Contentful still. I still work with Contentful day in and day out. Regardless, the other things you will find under the Headless CMS Show, if you click on an episode, you will see that it'll tell you which edition it is for, so which CMS it's for. So you'll see the Contentful edition here. The same thing with the Dev Show. So you know exactly when you're looking, you'll see what you're in for. Again, the Content Modeling Show in this episode, just click on Content Modeling 10 minutes probably after I'm done with the show. You'll click on there. At the bottom, under further information, you'll be able to find the link to the content model we're going to be doing today. All right, so that's enough of that. And like always, feel free to reach out to me. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them under comments here, and I'll try to get to them. So that's that. Today we're going to go through release notes. I'm going to show you what some release notes are. Then we're going to create a content model in Miro. And then if we have time, we'll see how it goes. I may bring it into Contentful so you can see what it looks like. But let's start with some release notes. So what are release notes? Usually we all use apps. We use either mobile apps or web apps. It doesn't matter. You use some sort of app. Those apps release features constantly, new features, updated features, bug fixes. You've seen them in the mobile app, in the app store. You'll see when you update, it'll say, hey, in this version we updated blah, 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 or we added this new feature. On the web, you may see something like, for example, I use Miro all the time for content modeling, right? But you can see that they're showing you here that what they call the changelog, same as release notes. But you can see that there's a title, there's a date, and then there is some sort of introductory item here that says new course on Miro, and it shows you this. Then it shows new templates for that date. For this date, they have another title. They have some sort of highlighted feature. But then on the right here, you'll see that it also has bug fixes and other updates. So that's for Miro. Lucid Chart does it differently, where you have a date and then you have a heading and something. A date, some sort of headings, and then some sort of update. They don't put here if it's an update, or if it's a fix, or if it's a new feature. They just list them like that. Autocode, this one does it a little bit differently. They call them announcements, and basically it's almost like a blog article that they do. So this one, I don't know if I'd call it a release note or release note document, but that's how they do it. Zoom does it kind of similar to how we do it where I work, which is the name of the actual article, and then you have new features, changes to existing features, and resolved issues. And then underneath that, you may have like a heading, and then you have what it is, another heading, and what it is. Okay. And let's see, I think, yeah, that's it. So those are some of them. So, the easiest way to do this, I always tell people, is like, you know what, I'm just going to create an RTF field and let the developers do whatever they want. But the problem with that is that it's hard to pull information within an RTF field. If you want to say, hey, can you give me all the new features for this date? So that way I can show that in app. And the other reason you don't want to do an RTF field, because that kind of cements sort of the formatting if they do bullet points like this. Whereas let's say you want to in Miro, we're going to go to Miro here, and I'm going to click on help.